No man is wants to manage your load, Darryn Peterson. What are we doing here? You're the best basketball player I've maybe ever seen. You can't give me 30 minutes a night? And give me 30 minutes a night. Pause.
There to go.
Have good mosh pitting.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Have Good Sporting, episode 71. No one asked for a college basketball episode, but you're getting a college basketball episode. We're gonna check in on my Final Four predictions, which I might say aren't not terrible. Okay, it's not terrible. We're gonna talk about load management. We're going to talk about Darryn Peterson and myself. Took a tumble on the basketball court yesterday. Might have to do some load management of my own. Wrote an article about my first team, second team, third team All-Americans through half of this college football season. We're going to talk about that. I had some things that probably aren't popular amongst the vast majority of college football fans. Um, yeah, and then we'll talk about I don't want to talk about the last thing that I'll talk about, but I'm going to because it deserves to be hated on more than it is. All right, let's get into these final four predictions that I have. Might pop up the article on the screen throughout this segment, but I'm going to be completely honest. Now, obviously, a final four prediction at this point in the year is never going to be too ridiculous because like a lot of teams are good and you can make a case for a lot of teams. There's only one team where it'd be like probably a bit outlandish if they made it. But we're going to go first team in this article from I literally think this was the first week of the college football season that I wrote this. Florida. And let's pop it up on the screen what I wrote about them because it is the most unbelievably accurate take on Florida that might be out there. And I apologize here. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right. The defending national champions will make it back to the Final Four as a 2 or 3 seed. Florida right now, number 3 seed in bracketology. Boogie Fland and Xavier Lee are the headliners on a brand new backcourt as the Gators lost Walter Clayton, Will Richard, and Elijah Martin. Fland or Lee will have to establish themselves as the main scorer. That is a bad take. It could also take a few games for the new backcourt to gel with the returning front court. Luckily for the new guards, Florida returns the best quartet of big men in the country. Alex Condon is a first-team All-American. He was a preseason first-team All-American. And may not be the best player on this team. Tommy Houck will be the jack of all trades for this Gator team. So Alex Condon gets the first-team nod, and I'm literally sitting there saying Tommy Houck's better. Has anyone watched Florida basketball? And for my money, one of the best players in America. Ruben Chinilu and Micah Hanlockton are the biggest of these big men and round out a front court that will be suffocating defensively. The Gators play Arizona, Duke, and UConn in the non-conference schedule. They may slip up a few times early, but they will rebound and climb to a high seed and a Final Four run. Florida lost all 3 of those aforementioned games, but they're now climbing to a 2 or 3 seed, and they're going to go on a Final Four run. Now, I'll be honest, guard play carries you through March. I've always said that is it's like death taxes, guard play carries you in March. Florida may not have that, but they're also playing like one of the best teams in America. So that's my problem here. I'm very steadfast in my belief that they are one of the best teams in the nation. I really think they're top 6 or 8. Okay, still think they're ranked too low. But I understand the lack of ultra efficient guard play is a serious issue. The second team that I had was UConn. Let's read what I wrote about UConn. I am extremely high on newcomer Silas Demery Jr. In fact, the last time the Florida Gators lost a game was at the hands of Demery Jr. on February 25th, 2025. I was in attendance and witnessed the Gators have absolutely no answers for Demery. He also leaves Mike White for Dan Hurley, which is like leaving UNC Bill Belichick for Patriots Bill Belichick. That is a great take, Jack. Hurley and the Huskies fell to the Gators in the round of 32, but gave them all they could handle. Losing Liam McNeely hurts, but again, I think an improved solo ball and Demery could provide the Huskies with improved guard play overall. Jeez, I can't even talk right now. Alex Karaban and Terrace Reed Jr. should lead another dominant front court for UConn. Like Florida, I think Hurley figures it out with a strong returning front court and a new but promising backcourt. Hurley reaches his third Final Four in 4 years. Yeah, UConn's back. They're 21 and 1, projected to be a 1 seed, an 8 seed last year. Last year they lost to the future national champion Florida Gators, but that was one of the more dangerous 8 seeds you'll ever play. A Dan Hurley UConn team in the 8 seed slot, that's scary. But this year they're back in the 1 seed. They're a top dog for sure. And that's they don't have like the Stephon Castles, so that's a bit of a concern. But they can win a title. They can win a title. Yeah, UConn's always going to be scary. All right, now, oh man, okay, this one's tough. This one's tough, and you kind of just have to face this one head on. But at the beginning of the season, I thought Kentucky was going to be a Final Four team. Bracketology right now, they're number seven, a 7 seed. They're 15 and 7, and it's a concern. It's concerning because I hate Kentucky. I always want Florida to beat Kentucky, obviously, but for prediction's sake, I want my prediction to be correct. Let's read what I wrote about Kentucky. Mark Pope once again has impressive depth in what should be another unpredictable year in the SEC. It's a good take. Otega Owe, in my eyes, is a top guard in the SEC and probably the nation. The addition of Florida transfer Denzel Aberdeen allows Owe to put in work off the ball where he shines. I am confident in the level of guard play that Kentucky will be able to rely on in March. Not sure about that one. The timetable for Arizona State transfer Jaden Quantance's ACL recovery is still unsure, but he will provide a necessary piece down low. He's drama filled, so that's yeah. He joins Mohamed Diabate and Brandon Garrison in what should be an improved defense, but that's what they all say. I trust Mark Pope to provide efficient offenses. If the Kentucky defense improves like I believe it will, Pope reaches his first Final Four. Um, okay. Denzel Aberdeen, not who we thought he was going to be. He should have stayed at Florida. Otega Owe, I still think he's really good. The defense is a concern. That Jaden kid, I haven't researched him as much as I should, but something's happening where he's like, is he a drama queen? Yeah, he might be a drama queen. Then Mohamed Diabate and Brandon Garrison should be pretty. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about this guy. They're getting hot. I'll say they might be on the climb, but lots to be concerned about with this Kentucky team. Okay. Lastly, let's read the last part of this article here. As I was picking my fourth team, I was picking between Purdue and Houston. And it's going to be Houston. When it comes down to it, if Purdue and Houston played in the Elite Eight, I like Kelvin Sampson. I do not even want to talk about what Sampson and the boys at Houston consistently bring on defense. It must absolutely suck to play against them. Rarely will a team get clean looks, and rarely will they possess the ball as many times as they would like. When you play Houston, you play their brand of basketball. Last year, Florida was up to the challenge, heartbreakingly beating the Cougars in the title game. It would be a bummer for all of those who have watched Sampson for the 70-year-old to never win a national championship. At the very least, he will make another Final Four. I love what I saw from Milo's Uzan last year. The main scouting report I have on him is that he jumps so high on his jumper. That is true. He jumps very high when he shoots it, that's a crazy thing to have as your main scouting report on him. Uzan will have to do some heavy lifting offensively, but he will have help from one of Houston's best recruiting classes ever. JoJo Tugler is a beast, and he will lead the Cougars defensively. I do question if the Cougars have enough offense to win it all, but Kelvin Sampson will this team to another Final Four. Okay, here's my national champion pick. Ready? Cue the article. After a gut-wrenching, heartbreaking loss in the title game, Houston re-upped on talent and will make a run to the national championship game. Kelvin Sampson, one of the most beloved coaches in the game, at a ripe, young age of 70, will achieve the most notable accolade of his coaching career. Back-to-back losses to Todd Golden and the Gators in the national championship. Let's go, boys. Yeah, Gators winning it all. As if we're shocked by that. He's the best coach in the nation. All right. So that's my final four. Feeling good about three of the four. New concerns, new developments that I'm concerned about. Michigan, very, very good and had a great week. Duke, Cameron Boozer's a beast. Kansas, kind of getting back to typical Kansas. Sorry for shaking the camera there. Let's just take a look at the AP Top 25. Oh, Arizona. I think if Florida played Arizona again, we'd win. Because Koa Pete played like LeBron James in the first game of this year and hasn't had a game like that since. But Arizona's still scary, but I don't think they're winning at all. Illinois, yeah. Yeah, Illinois, Gonzaga, Ohio State, Nebraska, Michigan State, Kansas, Purdue. Texas Tech is dangerous, but not really. Um, yeah, it's a scary. Yeah, I think I could be right. There's a ton of good teams. So much to the point, I think I wrote an article a while back saying that week six AP poll where they say is always that the national champion for the last 30 years has been in the top 12 of the week six AP poll for college basketball. The way this year's going, I think we bucked that trend this year. How about that? Florida was on the outside of that poll. I think Kansas was on the outside of that poll. Uh, Illinois might have been fractionally outside of it. Nebraska was outside of it. I can look it up. But that, and then we might have to make a clip about it. Sorry, episode is just full of me reading articles that I've written. Sorry. Let's see. Yeah, Florida, Nebraska, Texas Tech, Kansas, Virginia, Louisville, North Carolina, Arkansas, Illinois, Vandy, Tennessee, Arkansas, St. John's, Nebraska, Virginia, UCLA. Odds are that trend will still exist after this year. But I think if there was ever a year where, maybe the number wherever Florida was, perhaps. So that trend might end. What do we have left here? Okay. We need to talk about Darryn Peterson and Cameron Boozer. I'm setting my stuff down for this. Darryn Peterson is the most impressive college basketball player. No, he's the most impressive freshman I've ever watched. This guy scores. I mean, having his way with BYU, 18 points in the first half, sits the whole second half. I mean, I wrote down what his problems were. Darryn Peterson, we're load managing in college, by the way. Ankle sprain, cramping issues, hamstring strain, separate quad issue, and an illness. And this is the guy that's probably going to get drafted first overall. Now, here's a take for you. If Darryn Peterson gets drafted first overall, Cameron Boozer will probably be the best number two overall draft pick since 2007 Kevin Durant. And I mean, that would mean he's better than Chet, Ja, Brandon Ingram, D'Angelo Russell. Those are the most notable guys that have gotten drafted number two overall, really. But whoever gets drafted number two overall in this draft class, probably Boozer, I guess. The best since KD, dare I say. Just saying. But yeah, Darryn Peterson, this is a huge knock on him as a draft choice. To the point where I think you should draft Boozer number one overall. Darryn Peterson is so good, but he can't stay on the court. And if like no man wants to manage your load, Darryn Peterson, what are we doing here? You're the best basketball player I've maybe ever seen. You can't give me 30 minutes a night? And give me 30 minutes a night. Pause. But the guy can't stay on the court, man, and he's so good, but he's going to go to the league and have to have his load managed. So I'm not sure about Darryn Peterson, is what I'm saying. No, I'm sure of Darryn Peterson. I'm not sure about his load or how much he can play. That got crazy for a second there. Sorry. What else we have? Cameron Boozer. I think I would draft him number one overall purely because we have Darryn Peterson who has five different injuries in a year. Like the guy might just be made of glass. And you know what's a ridiculous comp for Darryn Peterson? Anthony Richardson in the NFL. Guy gets drafted fourth overall. All the Florida fans that watched him in college, probably thought that was a bad pick because he's made of glass. The guy was hurt every other month. He didn't play that much football. So he gets to the NFL, you have the best athlete the league's maybe ever seen, but he can't stay on the field. He doesn't really love football. He doesn't know that much about football. He hasn't played that much. And I don't think we have that concerns like that with Darryn Peterson because the guy is such a beast and he proves it. But we got to stay on the court, man. We got to stay on the court. Um, Speaking of load management, I took a tumble yesterday. Also wrote an article on that. If you're still here, just go check out the website. We're writing good articles over there. Gonna try to have Ed write some articles. Gonna try to write articles under some pseudonyms, so like Barstool did in the early days, so it looks like we're cooler than we are. But I took a tumble on the basketball court yesterday, and my career might be over. I went up for a rebound, a feisty 6 footer rips down a board, but I landed on Ed's ankle, and I swear I heard it. Heard it. But I hurt it too. And I mean, we went to Chili's later. I ate a triple dipper and I leave the restaurant. I can barely walk. And I mean, you want to talk load management? I may not have many minutes on the basketball court for the rest of my life. And I'm 23 and I had a season-ending ankle sprain. Like, what are we doing? I can walk on it, but it hurts so bad. But I know it's not that bad. I'm just like, am I washed? I'm seriously concerned about this. It's not fun to go through because I might be washed. But yeah, I mean, it's a problem. It's a problem. Okay. Florida played Alabama, smoked them, smoked Charles Bediako and the boys. And I'm gonna be honest, I was really talking crazy about Charles Bediako and saying that he shouldn't be able to play college basketball. And then he goes and plays Florida, and I watch my boys make Charles Bediako like 6.7 rebounds, fouls out. The guy's not that good. And you know, if you get this guy on your team, you're going to take a lot of flack. If you're going to put a former two-way NBA player on your college roster, he better be the best player out there. It's a waste of it's a waste of legacy and reputation to risk that on a guy that's going to foul out with 6 points. So why even have Charles Bediako on your team? The juice is not worth the squeeze, my brother. What are we doing? I'm done with Bediako, but I just had to rage about that one more time. I'm sorry. Um, First team All-America. I'm gonna read another article. I'm gonna talk about my first team All-America once again. Editing this is gonna be an absolute pain because I'm either gonna not be looking at the camera the whole time or gonna have to screenshot all this stuff and put it on the freaking screen. Okay, let's go. First team All-America. This is my first team All-America. Don't be swayed by the hat I'm wearing. This is objective. All right. Darius Acuff, Arkansas. It was between him and Braden Smith. I like, I think just with this team, we don't need a real facilitator as much. If like, if Darryn Peterson, Tommy Hawk, and Cameron Boozer couldn't bring the ball up the court, then I'd probably put Braden Smith on this team. But the theory here is I'm trying to create the best team, like not just five big men, right? Because that's probably what I would do if that's what I was doing. But I got Darius Acuff averaging 26 assists a game, really freshman, I believe, really good scorer for Arkansas. Been super impressed with him, and he trust me when I say he barely squeaked by Braden Smith when making this list. And then Darryn Peterson, he's up there, okay, because he is the most polished freshman. In the words of Mark Titus, he's the most polished freshman we may have ever seen in college basketball. He's just your clear two guard on the first team All America. Then Tommy Houck, he's the best player on the best team in the SEC. Relentless motor on this guy, high basketball IQ, locker room guy. All the good things you could say about a white guy, you say about Tommy Houck. Um, he's averaging 17, 6, and 2, or really 18, 6, and 2. He's turning into a really good scorer. He's always around the ball. He's like a okay, here's my Tommy Hawk comp. He is like 11 in Stranger Things. It's like everything's in the gutter. You're so sure that Florida's about to just die. And Tommy Hawk's there with the crucial play. That's a great comp. Tommy Hawk is 11 in Stranger Things. That's lit, dude. That's so cool. All right, Cameron Boozer. We got him at the 4 on this team. Averaging 24, 10, and 4. The guy's really good. I don't know what more you need to say about Boozer. I would draft him first in the draft. And then Chinny Chin down at the 5. Best rebounder and defender in the nation. He's really the guy we need in the paint to just kind of take this team over the edge of dominance and into best team ever assembled. All right, let's get to second team. And I know you're looking at this first team and you're saying, why are you leaving off the guy that we're all thinking about? I'll explain why. I'll explain why. The why is that we're trying to create the best team. I don't care about the 5, 10, or 15 best players. I want to create the three best teams. Braden Smith at Purdue, facilitator, 15, 4, and 9 this year. He's bringing the rock up every time. I want the ball in this guy's hands. Playing at our 2, we got a 6'8" guy playing our number 2. It's Milan Momcilovic. I've watched this guy play, have never been able to pronounce his name. An absolute sniper from 3. I think he's 54% on the year from 3. Also has the biggest plus minus in the nation this year. Iowa State is plus 440 or something ridiculous with this guy on the floor. So he's playing our 2. I just need him to 3 and D. Actually, he can kind of score too, though. But for the purpose of this team, we got other guys that can be 3-level scorers. I need Milan to just be a sniper from 3. I need him shooting 10 threes a game. Then JT Toppin at a 3. He really could play the 3 or the 4 because he gets 11 boards a game, 22 points a game. He's just a really good scorer. I enjoy watching Texas Tech. I actually think Texas Tech is like a team that could get bounced kind of early, bounce kind of early in March Madness. But I do think JT Toppin's good. I like JT Toppin. And then Dybantsa. Okay. I'm going to tell you why Dybantsa's on second team because he's scoring 23, 6, and 4. Like he's a great player and he's had a good year, but I can't shake the fact that he's 1 and 3 in his last 4 games. In the one win, he dropped 43 points. So there's that. If you want to argue against me, use that. But in the other 3 games, well, 1, they lost. And 2, I don't think he played that well. Like BYU Kansas, Darryn Peterson was the best player on the floor when he was on the floor. Dybantsa was, I mean, sometimes wasn't even the second best player on the floor, to be honest with you. But I still think he's really good. He'll be number 3 in the draft. If he gets drafted in front of Darryn Peterson or Cameron Boozer, I'd have a serious problem. And then we're gonna play Yaxel at the 5. Actually, I don't know who's taller between JT Toppin and Yaxel. No, because Yaxel's big. Yeah, we want some muscle down there at the 5. Yeah. Yaxel 15, 7, and 3 this year. He plays for Michigan, one of the best teams in the nation. He's kind of I think he's an anchor for them. I think he's the Tommy Hawk of that team. He's not, he does make beautiful plays. I don't think he's the flashiest guy ever. He's just a real anchor. Keeps the boys in it, constantly making the correct play. That's what I like about Yaxel. And this second team is built to beat the first team. That's what I say down here in this paragraph. Because you got Braden Smith, who has every right to be on the first team. Then you got an absolute sniper from 3, 2 of the best scorers in the nation, and Axel, who's just one of the best overall players. All right, third team. And you must be wondering, no Arizona yet, Jack? Do you just hate them because they beat the Gators? Yes, that's why they're on the third team. But Koa Pete didn't make it. Okay, Koa Pete was first team All America after his first game. Just hasn't been the same way since. But Arizona gets Jaden Bradley and Braden Burries or Berries. I'm not really sure which one. On the first team, they're going to be our 1 and 2 guards. We're going 3 guards, a forward, and a big on this team. Jaden Bradley is going to be our point guard. Kingston, actually, no. I kind of lost the plot here. Kingston Flemings or Jaden Bradley will bring the brawl up. Braden Berry will kind of be our wing. Caleb Wilson has revived UNC basketball, averaging 20 and 10. Really fun watch, Caleb Wilson. And then Graham Ike, 19, 9, and 3 for him this year. Been playing well for Gonzaga. Yeah, third, I think clear, there's a very clear top 10 players in the nation in college basketball this year, I think, which kind of made the third team All-America a bit challenging. But just look it over. This is what I have. I explain it in the paragraph. So do with that what you will. And then the honorable mentions are garbage. It's like a few good players and then just the rest of the Florida roster because I'm a biased loser. Um, Broken ankle. Bediako, first team All-America, Final Four predictions. Darryn Peterson, managing load. We checked off all our boxes, folks. I don't know how long this was, but I enjoyed this episode. I think it was better than the last time. We're going to clip it up. We're going to get after it. All right. You guys have a good, this is dropping on Tuesday. You guys have a good week. I think we'll be back Thursday with Ed. More sports coming your way. Have good sporting. Love you.